Good morning and welcome to our today's lesson. I'm Meshack, Kodiko, teacher of biology. So today we're going to talk about how sex is determined in man. When I talk about man, man is used to refer to both males and females. So we have to describe how sex is determined in man. First of all, we have to understand that in the total number of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes in human beings, only 2 are sex chromosomes. So we say that there are 2 sex chromosomes in human, that is X and Y. And a female is always homozygous XX, that is homozygous XX. Then a male is heterozygous XY. When I talk about homozygous, means that the sex chromosomes look alike in appearance, but does not necessarily mean that they contain the same genetic information. But when we come to the chromosomes here, the sister chromosomes XY, they don't look alike, so therefore we call them heterozygous. So males are heterozygous while females are homozygous. So in human males, there are XY, that is XY chromosomes, that is which make them become heterogametic. When I talk about heterogametic here, that is the gametes are not identical. So that's why we talk about heterogametic. Then in human females, they are XX. That is, the 2 X chromosomes are identical, and therefore we can call them homo. That is homozygous. Being homozygous, therefore, make them form what we call homogametic. That is, they are the same because they look alike. So first of all, what we have to understand about this, from Mendel's first law of segregation, which states that characteristics of organisms are controlled by genes that occur in pairs and only a single gene is represented in a gamete. That therefore means that these 2 chromosomes must undergo what we call segregation. Segregation is, by a simple layman's language, is separation from the homologous pair. That is, if there were XX for the female, then they have to undergo segregation. That is, they segregate individually. When we are talking about the causes of variation, we understand what we call independent assortment. That is, the 2 chromosomes will have to segregate independently. And this X chromosome that is formed here, and that other X chromosome in the case of the females, is going to contain different characteristics from these other characters in the X chromosome. So during segregation, that is separation of the chromosomes, each pair of chromosomes are segregated to become gametes. That is what we are talking about here. The heterogametics of the males, that is XY, separate. That is, this X chromosome undergoes segregation, and then we have this one now becomes a gamete. Then the Y chromosome also segregates independently and becomes a gamete on its own. When they are crossed with a female, for example, then we are going to realize that the X chromosome and the female will also undergo segregation, and the other one also undergoes segregation. So you are going to find that we have 4 quarters here. That is, if you are asked the total number of chromosomes that result from the 2 homologous pair, that is 1 is here, the X chromosome, the gamete again. Then we have the Y gamete, we have the X gamete, and this one here. So we can see that there are 4 quarters there. So for us to have the male gamete here, a male gamete will have what we call, when they segregate, they now become haploid. They are half the original value. So we are saying that there are 4 types of gametes produced as shown above. So there are 4 quarters there. So during the process of fertilization here, where the male gamete fuses with the female gamete to form a zygote, you are going to find that during that process of fertilization, which again brings about variation in an organism, during fertilization, the sex of the child will depend on which gamete fuses with which. For example, if it is the X chromosome from the male that fuses with the X chromosome or the egg cell from the female, then automatically the XX chromosome will result. That is, a male child will result. Then again, if it is the Y chromosome from the male that fuses with the X chromosome of the XL in the female, then a male child will result. So we are saying that the probability of either a male or a female child being formed is a matter of chance. So why do we say it is a matter of chance? There is a probability that either male or a female child will result. So for example, we say if X chromosome from the male fuses with the X chromosome from the female, then a female individual will result. And that one we are going to see when we are now given the cross. And then if Y chromosome from the male fuses with the X chromosome from the female, then a male child, not a female child, that is the Y, a male child will result. A male child will result. Let us now look at this. If you are given during fertilization, if a male and a female individual are married, for example, then you are asked the probability of the child that they are going to give birth to. Let us look at this. These are now male, when we are talking about parental phenotypes now, parental phenotypes will be male, female. Then when we come to gametes, not gametes but the genotypes, when we are talking about the genotypes, genotypes we refer to them as the genetic constitution of an organism. So males are XY, which we call them heterogametic, while the females are XX, being alike, looking alike, they are therefore called homogametic. So the gametes now will undergo, the homologous chromosomes will undergo segregation to form gametes. The X segregates on its own, Y segregates on its own. Then we have the X chromosome from the female segregating by its own. This is also segregating. Then we fuse them. If you fuse them, you are going to find that if you draw your fusion lines well, then we are going to have the F1 generation, or rather what we are calling first filial generation. The first filial generation in this case is we are going to have one XX, we have XX, XY, XY. So if we are to look at the ratio of the occurrence of these chromosomes, we are going to find that there are two XX, then two XY. If we simplify that ratio, we are going to find that we have 1 to 1, ratio 1 to 1. For us to get the probability of either male or a female child being given birth to, then we are supposed to total the ratios. 1 plus 1 is 2. So it is, for this one here, it's going to be 1 over 2. Then for the females, it is also 1 over 2. Therefore, the probability of either male or a female child, as I said, is a matter of chance. The probability is half or 50%. So in this case, we've now known that the probability now, when we want to determine the sex of a child, then we are going to look at the types of chromosomes that are there. We have seen very well that the males are heterogametic, while the females are homogametic, and they have to undergo what we call segregation so that they form gametes, because we know from Mendel's first law of segregation that characteristics of organisms are controlled by genes that occur in pair, and only a single pair of such gamete is represented in the gamete. So in this case, we are going to see that after segregation, we are going to have the XY chromosome, which is heterogametic, undergoing segregation to form XY gametes. Then we have the XX undergoing segregation to form XX gametes. So you can see that we have 4 quarters here. If you add a quarter plus a quarter plus a quarter, so that we see what we are talking about, a quarter plus a quarter is what? 2 over 4, which is half. Then a quarter plus a quarter for the male is also 2 over 4, which is also half. So we are now seeing that there are 4 types of gametes produced as shown above. During fertilization here, the sex of the child will depend on which chromosome fuses with which to form the child. So the probability of either male or a female child being formed is a matter of chance. And we have seen if it is the X chromosome that is fusing with the X chromosome from the female, then a male child will result. And if it is the Y chromosome from the male fusing with the X chromosome from the female I mean, then we are going to have a male child resulting in that case. So the probability of having either male or a female child is a matter of chance, and therefore it is half or 50%. If you look at what we are saying here, if you are given such a question, all that we have said here can be summarized as in this case, where you have the XY, XX, then you do your proper crossing, you are going to have the same half or 50% probability. I want to thank you for listening to our lesson of today, and let us meet next time.